final ladder belongs to Green Bay Packers wide receiver 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Who the hell knows? Christian Watson. He was Jordan Love's Huckleberry in week 11. Well, Malik Willis's first with that crazy touchdown catch. And then Jordan Love's with an even crazier one through double coverage. So, Yash, Christian Watson right now, 34% owned. Mm-hmm. Would you want him or the guy we were just talking about, 47% owned?
I'll take Christian Watson. Okay. I just the thing with Wilson, it was more likely that Marvin Harrison Jr. Contributed to Michael Wilson's big day versus the Green Bay Packers going to Christian Watson when they needed points. So, no, the targets weren't there for Watson. However, like you said, the Packers are going to him when it's the gotta have it plays. They're going to him, and I think those are going to be coming more frequently as he gets more acclimated back into that offense again. And you're seeing the receivers around him going down, they're dropping like flies right now. So he could be seeing an increase in work as we move forward. So if we can get more targets out of him, clearly he's a playmaker to begin with, so we don't have to worry about that. And once again, you got to reiterate that Michael Wilson is not going to be given this opportunity week after week. Most likely this was the best week we saw of him. So I'll stick with Watson convincingly in this one.
Watson's rise has been dramatic, and it's coming because he's really upped his contested catch ability. We knew who he was coming out of North Dakota State as a speedster, maybe kind of a Will Fuller type, where if you could hit him in stride, you were in business, and anything else, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
Diversified that route tree. But importantly, he's catching 70% of his targets, and B, being targeted on average 23 yards downfield. So even if he's only getting 4 or 5 targets a game, he catches 2 or 3 of those, and you are in business. Whereas a guy like Michael Wilson has been a non-factor through most of the year, needed the Maserati Marv injury to really show up, and then even then had this massive performance in a true blowout. And sure, that's going to happen a bunch to these Cardinals, and he's still going to be useful. But I think I would prefer the playmaking of Christian Watson in this exercise. Next man up, he is 51% owned. Very different from Christian Watson, a short-range target out of the slot compared to a deep sideline threat, and he is the Indianapolis Colts' Josh Downs. Yash, who you got?
I'm going with Watson. They get about the same amount of usage in terms of targets, but the targets look drastically different. And for fantasy purposes, they are much more useful on Christian Watson's end than they are on Josh Downs' end. Both of them are dealing with competition from other receivers as well, but like I said before, I'll take the quality of Watson's targets over the quality of Downs' targets. So give me Christian Watson here once again.
Yeah, that heavy rotation in the Colts lineup means that Downs is only running about 20 to 30 routes per week. He's getting some targets. He's getting about 6 per game. He's catching about 5 of those. He's going to go out there and get you 8 to 10 points. He's steady. He's stable. But he's pretty touchdown reliant in order to really boost into the stratosphere, whereas a guy like Watson can make 2 deep throws work and really get you on the board, get you moving, and then some. On top of that, I think Watson's role is expanding and evolving in the Packers offense, where Downs, we barely saw him in Germany last week, and we do have some questions about Daniel Jones. 2 back-to-back kind of quasi-clunkers. Is he falling back to Danny Dimes status? Does he need the bye week to rejigger things a little bit, figure things out, or is he going to backslide back to the median? We'll see. The regression is coming for Indianapolis, it seems, whereas the Packers still have a little extra room to go before they hit that ceiling. I want Christian Watson. And finally, it all comes back to the Patriots, because everything the NFL does. Former New England undrafted free agent, current Jacksonville Jaguar, Jakobi Meyers, 73% owned. Yash, do you want Christian Watson or do you want our former boy Jakobi down in Florida?
PPR leagues, I'll go with Myers. If we're playing half or a standard, I'm staying with Christian Watson. I do think the opportunity is going to be there for Myers to build on his rapport with Trevor Lawrence moving forward. They have a decent schedule to the finish of the season. And I just think that he's going to try to build a case for somebody to sign him to a long-term contract.
Yes.
Remember, that's the whole thing with him wanting to get out of Vegas to begin with. He wasn't happy there. He wanted an opportunity somewhere else, and he's looking to sign long-term with somebody eventually. So he's playing for a contract right now. So if it comes down to it, I would take him. But this is, for me personally, this is a coin flip in terms of talent. I think both of them will provide a decent ceiling. I think they're going to get there different ways. Meyers will be obviously more of like a dink and dunk type of guy versus Watson with the big hits. But either way, you can't really go wrong. But if I'm going with format and it's PPR, I would say I'd lean towards Meyers.
I would go Meyers as well in both formats, I think, just
Okay.
because what we saw in Jacksonville against the Chargers was Jacksonville ran right the hell over LA. But B, that created so much space for Jakobi Meyers, who was the de facto wide receiver one there. His 4 yards of separation per target, the highest of the season for him. He played more snaps, ran more routes. He's getting acclimated to that offense. And he made hay while the sun shined. I believe it was 6 targets, 5 catches, or maybe it was 7 and 6. I got to go back and take a look at that. It's in there somewhere. At any rate, this is a guy who I think is going to get the keys, right? He's going to be the man Trevor Lawrence relies on because Travis Hunter is gone. And Brian Thomas Jr., even when he comes back, a league-leading 9 drops. You need someone reliable in that offense to move the chains, to keep the space open for that run game, to make life easier for Trevor Lawrence. That is why you go out and trade for Jakobi Meyers, who, like you said, contract year. He is going to show out and give teams and general managers something to think about this upcoming offseason.
And just to point out, I do believe that he is going to be the receiver that takes over what Travis Hunter was supposed to. Like, the whole buildup was Travis Hunter out of the bye was going to basically usurp Brian Thomas Jr. as the focal part of the passing offense. I think that Meyers is kind of just going to step into that role that they had envisioned for the rookie Hunter at the time. So should work out.